So we are here today, and yes, we are going to paint. But first and foremost, I have some really amazing people here with me today, and really, they're going to tell their story best, not me. So we're going to get to that. But today is a fundraiser. It is a fundraiser for a charity that I was recently made aware of and instantly became passionate about, and the charity is called AboAba. And if you want more information immediately, you can go ahead into the description here, and there is a link. It's a GoFundMe link, of course. It's a fundraiser, but there's a lot of information there if you want to read as you're listening to us. But I'm going to let these amazing people here with me introduce themselves and tell a little bit more about what we're here for today. So, y'all, however you want to do it, whoever wants to go first, just have at it.
Uh, Hi, my name is Brianna Fitzpatrick. I came across Tim, who is the one that started AboAba Kids Art. I came across him through Instagram back in like September, October of 2023, and he actually DM'd me like a screenshot of one of his stories that he shared of how he pretty much ran out of like finances to fund and buy art supplies for all the children that he was teaching in Uganda. And it just grabbed my heart. I mean, I gotta be honest. Sometimes I'm a little skeptical of certain DMs because there could be a lot of people that try to reach out and ask for money and things. But I'm like, he was just asking for like some used art supplies if had any to spare, and I'm like, it can't hurt. I have plenty of art supplies in my studio, so I thought before I share it with my community, who he is and stuff, I want to make sure it's legit. So I did send him some art supplies, and he sent me back videos and pictures of the kids opening up the box and then using the art supplies, and they were screaming and shouting and just had so much joy and happiness, and it was very infectious. So then once I received those videos with Tim's permission, I asked if I could share them on my Instagram account, and then from there it reached like Abby and other people, and just more and more just kept coming together, and we're sending them art supplies. So I got like over 70 pounds of art supplies to them, but we're just trying to raise some more money for like the taxes and custom fees that are coming in. And also there's additional things listed in the GoFundMe, for things that he needs to get. So that's my bit of story.
Yeah, I guess I'll just tail off what Bree said. So I've known Bree for a couple of years now, and I've been following her very intently on social media because she's just always got something interesting. I'm like, what's she gonna do next? What's her next video gonna be? What's her next idea? So she's like always popping up on my feed. So I saw her post about she had sent like some colored pencils, I think, and some paper, and it was just a video of these kids receiving what to me is just like a package of colored pencils, and they were so excited.
Yeah.
I have never seen joy probably the way that these kids were reacting to colored pencils. Um, and so then Brie had posted out a video to her followers saying, "Hey, let's get together and send him some art supplies." Um, so I realized at the time I'm a paint maker and I make like metallic and color shifting paints and stuff like that. So I realized, well, I've got plenty of extra paint. I could send him some of my paints. Um, and in that process, I ended up kind of messaging him just to see if there was anything else like that he really specifically needed that I could like look around my studio for. Um, and he did. He sent me like a whole list of what he was looking for, and we just kind of got to talking a little bit more. And we ended up just getting into some really deep conversations about um, his life in Uganda and the art classes that he had started for these kids that don't really have any other outlet to do this. And it just really, really touched me. And I realized I had so much more I could send to him too. So I gathered up a ton of art supplies, um, and sent a couple of boxes over to Tim. And then, yeah, in that process, we realized how expensive it is really to ship to Uganda. So I personally covered my, supplies and shipping to Uganda, and we realized there was a lot of import taxes when things come through Uganda. Part of it's taxes, part of it's fees, part of it's people at the post office taking their cut. So in order for him to even pick up these packages, we realized we had to get Tim some money too. So I kind of just asked around my contacts, just some of my friends, family, and some of my art collectors, and we all kind of got together and um, just raised like a few $100s just to cover the shipping and like taxes for the boxes that I had sent. And while this is happening, Bree's influence had really influenced a lot of other artists who were sending him art supplies. So Tim was really, really getting hooked up with all these art supplies, but was running into kind of an issue of how he could obtain the packages. So in talking to him, we realized we could potentially set up a GoFundMe for him. And the problem is in Uganda, GoFundMe doesn't support um, projects in Uganda for a variety of reasons. And so it would take somebody in a country that supported GoFundMe to set up a GoFundMe for him and to figure out how to transfer the money to him, which is another issue that we figured out. And so I was kind of, busy figuring that out, and I reached out to Kayla, who I knew she's my friend that we used to live together in Chicago, and I knew she had experience with setting up GoFundMe's, and I just kind of told her the story, and yeah, that's how then Kayla became involved. So I don't know, Kayla, you want to talk about what you did?
Sweet, yeah. I can introduce myself and talk. I'm Kayla Mitchell. I'm the one who initially, of course, with some help, started the GoFundMe page. I met Abby, I want to say, gosh, I don't even know. It's been over 10 years ago or so now. And I mean, we talk all the time, even though we live, cross country now. And she's who introduced me to Tim and introduced me to everything that has been going on. As far as, the snowball effect of all of these, artists collectively coming together to give, art supplies to Tim and to the kids. And with that, I basically, saw all of this stuff and was like, wow, this is incredible. I want to, somehow be a part of this. And even though I'm not, an artist of the paint medium per se, I do, have resources. I'm a cinematographer. I'm used to setting up GoFundMe's and Indiegogo pitches for, my own, short films and my own projects. So I was like, maybe what I can do is, start this GoFundMe, share it amongst, my network, kind of maybe start a snowball effect with, getting the help towards, getting Tim the import fees and other necessities he needs just to, get by. So that's basically where I became involved. Like it's, purely emotional, purely passionate, purely just, felt like it was something that was right. And here I am now.
Oh my gosh. I knew that bringing you all here was the right idea because I could never explain it, as passionately as you all just have. So, I'm going to go ahead now and try to play this silly little video that I cobbled together because friends, I had a conversation with Tim yesterday, and it was, as expected, we're very, very far away from one another, and connectivity stuff, it was at times a little hard to hear each other. But I think you're gonna be really excited about what actually came through pretty clearly, because I feel like it was like meant to be. So let me what I'm going to do is go ahead and try to get this video ready to share. And while I'm doing that, I would love it if any, Bree, Abby, whoever, Kayla wants to talk about, what there's some other needs going on right now as well that is separate from my understanding from art supplies. There's tech needs, and I'd love for you to just share with people while I just get this video ready to go. The best way to help Tim right now, because here's the thing, I'm willing to accept art supply donations and cover shipping, but like, is that the best thing? So what, if someone could kind of wax poetic about that for a few moments, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So as I was talking to Tim, and keep in mind Bree's influence at first, he's received a lot of art supplies already.
Yeah.
So at this point right now, he does have a good amount of art supplies to start teaching some lessons to these kids who have never used anything besides like crayons and pencils. They're going to be learning some watercolors and different things with all the cool art supplies that are there now. And that's not to say in the future that they don't need more art supplies. But something that I ended up talking about with Tim a lot was he had a lot of videos to share that were, it was really difficult for him to share just because of the current technology he has. So his phone is full of videos of all of the kids and the supplies that they've gotten and different boxes of them opening different boxes. And him and his friend have both been using their phones. So there's a couple different phones involved taking these videos. And with talking to him, we realized it would be really helpful to upgrade his phone and potentially have a computer and camera to use. So we actually, between me and Kayla, we actually have two phones that we're able to send him. We have a very powerful laptop that we're able to send him, and we have two cameras that we're able to send him. Yay!
That's
Just
awesome.
the only problem is that there's a couple things that come with it, and the first one is the shipping and import. It'll be like expensive to ship those things to him. And then the second part is Uganda has really high levels of humidity, and they don't generally have like air conditioning and things like that. So in order to keep the tech protected, we have to like make sure it has like the right case and the right box and stuff. And that way that when he gets them, he can keep them safe and use them for a long time. And we just figured that just with talking with him, we just were talking about how that would actually be probably one of the highest needs to just kind of get his story out there even more. And, we all found each other on social media. So if the more access he has to technology to store his videos and edit his videos, like the more he can get his story out there and keep it rolling with people who want to help or donate supplies in the future. So that's something that we really wanted to get to him soon, especially the phones. That's going to be like our first thing that we really want to send him. And we just need, some funds. I've put some of my personal funds and time into this. So at this point, we need help sending that to him. And so, yeah, that's kind of like the tech needs. And then as he kind of starts learning about these new supplies, like watercolors and stuff like that, because like, keep in mind, this is his first time trying paints too. Paints are not really that accessible or affordable in Uganda. So as he learns about the supplies, he's starting to figure out some other things that he might need. So he's realizing, it'd be nice to have a table for the kids to sit at. It would be nice to have a shelf to store the paints on and stuff. So as he's kind of figuring out his new classes, he's just been figuring out kind of different things that would be helpful, like besides art supplies. So that's where the other parts of the GoFundMe come into. Oh, and I just saw a question where in Uganda. He lives in the Kampala area. Specifically, the region is called Buganda, and it's just outside of Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda.
Awesome. Yeah, I know one of the things, and I'm still working on my side of stuff here, but I know one of the things that he mentioned to me is wanting to eventually get into the more rural areas of Uganda with this. And I just love the fact that he's 22 years old and he's already thinking he's thinking this big. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah. So we have a question here. What about plastic shoe boxes for shipping? They double as waterproof storage boxes. That's really
That's
interesting.
exactly what we're going to do. So
Nice.
we're actually, one of the things he just did, or he's doing this week, is we're assessing like the prices between him buying it there in Uganda and us sending him stuff too. So
Yeah.
some of the bigger things, like we also want to get something to store his paper in too. So the plastic shoe boxes is exactly what we're going to be doing to store the tech and paper. It's just kind of now figuring out if it's cheaper for us to send him the boxes from here, or if it's cheaper and easier for him to purchase them in Uganda, and even if they're available in Uganda. So part of the funds are going towards that too, that Tim can take a trip to the art stores, the local art stores, and like just local stores in town to figure out like pricing on things in Uganda.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. That was a great suggestion. So Jennifer says, I'll share this with Jaza. Jennifer, please, actually, please share this with Jaza. I'm in a Discord with him. I actually was just chatting with him. I'm not name dropping, but I got into this Discord with all these really big YouTubers. I don't know how it happened. I don't deserve to be there, but I'm there. Okay. And so I was just I'm figuring out Discord, but we were like in the lounge and we were chatting. And so I'm gonna pass this along to him as well. So yes. So when I saw that you said Jaza, I was like, is it Jaza? Is it Jaza? It's Jaza, right? I don't know. I'm American. I'm very American. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce or how to say it properly. Here we go. Here's another question. If somebody wants to answer this one, and I think I'm very close to being able to share what I'm trying to share.
So basically, the goal right now, we initially had it set at a $1,000 goal, which we actually fulfilled within 8 hours, and we were not expecting that whatsoever. The community is strong and extremely unified, and it's amazing. So with that, we were like, obviously Tim could use more. We extended it now to 5,000, and it's slowly but surely climbing. So that's where we're currently at.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I think it's one of those situations. You tell me if I'm off base here, but with someone like Tim, who is so passionate and he's clearly so active, once one need is filled, he's going to be able to take that need, put it into action. That's what I'm seeing. And then he's thinking, okay, what's next? How can I move this forward? So I think that's why it's so important to keep fueling him in whatever way we can. I don't know, tell me, am I right there? I get that sense from him. Okay.
1,000%. I mean, honestly, after getting to know him personally, after talking to him, I don't know, I would say me personally, it's been about a month or so now. I can see the passion in him. And for somebody, I mean, as young as him, it's incredible to me to see how driven, how motivated, how passionate, how inspired he is. It's almost impossible for me personally to not want to help, to not want to be able to provide this safe space and these necessities for not just Tim to go forward and move forward and become what he needs to be, but also for these kids. I mean, it's incredible. I can't even fathom it in the words, to be honest with you. Like, it's just wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just been showing I've just been sharing the screen here from the Instagram account, and it is just so absolutely delightful. There's no sound, but it is just like, oh my gosh. Tim shared with me yesterday, and I'm still I don't know, my internet is being a real big jerk right now, but look at this, look at that. But Tim shared with me that the kids they're being introduced to supplies that, it sounded to me like they started literally with crayons, very meager, very like childlike supplies that they just used into oblivion. Like the crayons were broken at the point that he started reaching out to people for help. Like, and now you see them with like watercolor pencils and colored pencils and like mixed media, paper pads, and like their minds are blown, and you can see it. And like, look at these faces. Look at these faces. It's insane. It's insane. Let me check on this video upload. Okay, goodness gracious, we're like 3/4 of the way there. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say something I love about the kids in Uganda is they love to dance. Like that's just something I've noticed is like a difference between. I mean, kids here love to dance too, but they are always dancing.
Always dancing.
They are just always moving and dancing and like shaking, and it's just fun because it just kind of like really shows how happy and excited they are, even with like really minimal supplies. Like they would just be so excited. And actually that was what really moved me when Bree posted the colored pencils. Like to me, I was like looking around at all the colored pencils I have, and like, in my head I'm like, oh, I really want to upgrade my colored pencils, or I don't have enough colors or whatever. And here's these kids just like beyond excited for just what I would consider like a basic everyday supply. So and they're really even learning so much since they got those colored pencils from Bree, because they were working with really minimal supplies before, like not even really from like the art store, those are like crayons from the local kind of like corner store type of thing. So like Tim hasn't even yet been to like the one art store in Kampala.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's still even learning about all these supplies.
He told me, community friends here, you're gonna love this. I asked Tim about his own artwork, and I was like, so like, what do you love using? And he was telling me like that he hasn't been exposed to much himself, but his new favorite love is watercolor. And so you had to have imagined my just absolute like I was ecstatic. Like I jumped out of my seat a little bit. I was a little biased on that one. So so Kimberly, your question about used pallets, used tubes of paint. I mean, I think right now it sounds like we are focusing on it sounds like right now he's got the supplies he needs, and that will probably change and evolve over time, I would imagine. I'm going to stick with this group and kind of shout out needs as they change and evolve for Tim and AboAba. But I think right now we're trying to make sure that we can get him the tech he needs and storage solutions and things like that. But honestly, friends, if you want to ship me supplies anytime, I have a lot of places that they can go, and a lot of needs in a lot of places. So if it's Tim and the kids at some point, great. But if you ever want to ship me lightly used supplies, I can find a home for them. But that's off topic. But and if I'm ever saying anything that is misrepresenting the goals of this charity, friends, please let me know, because like I said, I'm really new here. So
yeah, no, that's definitely that's very true what you said. And I think it went from, a few months ago, Tim was like, I need anything, reaching out to Bree, to now he's like, wow, I have all the art supplies. I have more art supplies than I could have imagined. And now what are really my bigger dreams, and how can I keep this going? Maybe envisioning ways it could expand. But so the answer to that is yes, they would accept palettes and paint. But he's also just still kind of learning, would it be worth it to accept this package if I have to pay $50 to pick it up?
Right.
It's a kind of like assessing, like, how can we get the most out of like the limited resources that he has.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, so the answer yes and no.
Yeah.
It's not super straightforward answer, but I'm sure in the future, art supplies get used. So he'll definitely need supplies in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is interesting. As a primary teacher, Jennifer says, I've got heaps of kid-friendly resources for Tim to access for lesson plans. Oh, what do y'all think of that?
That's incredible.
I think
Like,
so, right?
Yeah, he would use that for sure, because
yes, most definitely.
he's just learning the supplies too. So
Yeah.
I know he's almost like maybe a little bit nervous too to like teach the kids, because he's still
Gotcha.
figuring out what he knows. But I did send him like a watercolor book to learn about just watercolor. It was like kind of an advanced book, but
Yeah.
he's been reading it.
Nice.
But that would be amazing. I don't know like what platform the resources are on. He does have like internet access, but has limited access to like download apps and stuff like that. But if those resources were available online, like he would definitely use those. And you could even honestly connect to him directly on Instagram at AboAba Kids Art and let him know. And I'm sure he would like really appreciate that.
Yeah, Jennifer, do you just want to reach out to him and just he'll chat with you. He loves to chat. He loves to chit chat. So, what was it? AboAba Kids Art, right? I have it up on screen. Google Drive and Docs would be helpful to use. All you need is Wi-Fi. I don't know about his access to Google
We
tools.
we have looked into that. Abby and I have talked about that,
Okay.
the Google Drive thing and Dropbox kind of thing, and
Yeah.
looking into like prices to extend the storage, because obviously the Google Drive only comes free with an X amount of gigs of storage. So that's one thing we have looked into other than solid state hard drives. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I think I may have this video. I think I may. Let me go see. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. I really tried to be so well prepared. So I would love for you guys to chat about a little bit more about the type of art that you make, because I do have a little thing that I'd love to do coming up. But yeah, if you'd like to share with the community here, like what it is that fires you up about your art and stuff, that would be awesome.
Sure. Kayla's a cinematographer, so she's probably like, I don't know what to talk about, but
yeah, I'm not going to talk about. Yeah, I know.
Bree and I definitely could share some art. I just dropped off a lot of my art at like my like retail space in town, so I don't have a ton here, but I like to do like mostly like mixed media. I use like acrylic, I use ink, I use collage, I do oil painting, I do spray painting, airbrush. So I have like a couple of paintings here. This one's like very much they're both in progress, but here's one where I've used like collage, airbrush, acrylic.
Oh my gosh.
Ink. So all different kinds of stuff on there, and then eventually
That's beautiful, Abby.
That is
oil paint.
Wow.
I love geometric stuff in there and stuff.
Abby,
So
it's
cool.
incredible.
I love
I
geometry.
am
Well, it kind of matches
obsessed.
the live.
It does. I'm obsessed. I want that on my wall.
Hey, it's for sale.
Oh, okay.
And then I have this one, I do live painting, which is like I'll go to like music festivals and concerts and events and stuff and like paint live. So this is one that I made live during a festival, and then I came home and added like some airbrush, kind of like I use like tape and airbrush and stuff. So that's just kind of like,
hey, how are
Really
you?
loving
I'm
those
so
canyons.
Sorry.
Ah!
Wasn't ready for that. I love it. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, that's it. Honestly, that was done. That's the type of art I make.
I just got really excited that it actually worked.
I just heard,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, friends. Here is my chat with Tim. Now, just listen good, because as I mentioned, you know, the connection. And Tim, I think for no reason, no good reason, is super nervous. But he's nervous, and he asked me, he's like, how do you have so much confidence when you speak? I'm like, oh, because I stopped caring about like making mistakes a long time ago. So that's why. All right, here we go. I hope you can hear this. Where the heck is my mouse? Where'd it go? There you are. All right.
Tim, hey, how are you? I'm so glad we got to do this.
Hi, Kyle, man. It's so good. I feel so good because I've been waiting for this time, like to get to chat with you and talk to everybody out there. It's
Yes.
just been so much love I've been feeling from you guys. I just feel so good right now.
The name of the charity, AboAba. What
Okay.
does it have a meaning?
And in English, it means brothers and sisters together. So AboAba all just means brothers and sisters together, and it's just as all as one, bound with love, you know.
Ah,
A
well,
family.
that is perfect.
Yeah,
Awesome.
family.
So tell me a little bit about you and your art. I know you're an abstract artist, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to know, like, what's your favorite, you know, medium to work with, and when did you start making art?
Okay, I'm 22, and this year I'm actually making like 23 in June 25th. And I haven't really worked with a lot of mediums, and with this year when we got some supplies from Brianna and Abby, this one I got to like start working with acrylics, you know. But this entire time I was working with inks and the watercolor that I used to extract from like markers, yeah. Watercolor, I should say, is like my favorite one, like to work with right now. Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're doing like out here in Uganda. I doing my best to like extend art to like every child in Uganda. And right here in my community, I just get together with the kids and I try to put everybody on. I try to call like the kids and like more kids to join us. I really think that is a great way to like express ourselves and for many kids that have to like grow up in a kind of life that we grew up in. I just I just think that is really something that will really inspire them like, to have something like positive in their lives to look at. I just wanted them to like have the same chance, like to feel, you know, to feel as good as I do when I walk with my art. I see kids, create something and they just look at it. I actually have one piece that one of the kids did.
Oh,
when
good.
we were like testing out like the watercolors, and this was Dalton first watercolor piece, and I just like felt so good because I felt like finally I get like somebody like Dalton to like create something and then they love it, you know.
There we go. Okay, it worked. It worked. So, yeah. So it was just so awesome to chat with him and be able to see his, yeah, nervous, but like whatever, to see his passion. And when he would let himself like let go a little bit, you could see the smile and that sparkle in his eyes, you know what I mean? And I'm just so grateful for you all, um, for, like, because I know myself. I'll be honest. I don't know who was saying it, but like when he first reached out to me, I'm like, okay, who is this? And is this legit? And I'm like poking around and I'm like trying to find, then he started mentioning Abby and Kayla and Bree, and I'm like, okay, who are they? And so it's like we stop ourselves because this world has taught us in so many ways to not trust and to like protect ourselves. But I very quickly realized how real and how important and how very quickly realized, how legit this indeed is. So Sarah Chalk says my insides feel all warm and fuzzy. Well, I am glad. So again, friends, Jennifer, that painting did look like one of my figs, which I thought as well, which is too cool. So here's the thing, friends. Again, I'm gonna get whoever can stick around and paint with me, stick around. But before that, just know that the GoFundMe information is below. There's a link, and here's what I'm gonna do. And this is it's just what I'm going to do. I always like feel guilty sometimes when I do things because I don't ever want it to, I feel like I've been jaded. I've been in this YouTube community for years, and people can be gross and mean and cruel in comments, and I don't care. But anything that comes through today, in terms of financial donation, I'm going to match. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and match it. So this is your time. Just donate today. If it's $1, whatever, I'm going to match it. And I'm like kind of getting scared because if somebody does something crazy, I'm going to have to match it, but that's okay. I'll do it. But, I want him to get what he needs. I want him to have the infrastructure he needs. I want him to be set up so that brain and that heart of his can just run. You know what I mean? So, okay. So head to that GoFundMe link because these gals have it all figured out. Like, and what they don't have figured out yet, they are actively figuring it out. They're getting him what he needs. They're getting him the funds that are coming through. They're thinking through the strategy of what makes most sense, buying it here, shipping it there, paying for all the extra junk that comes along with that, or helping him buy what he needs, where he's at. They're figuring out all the logistics. We just have to like open our hearts to it. So anyway, so thank you again. Who's going to stick around? I have a little painting thing I want to do for anyone that can stick around. But anybody who can't, that's cool too. No pressure.
I have like a good half hour I can stick around, or even maybe a little longer. So I'm good to stick around.
Cool.
I know I can.
I have a oh,
sorry. I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much for your like generosity and your like giving heart and everything. Like, that is so touching, and we all really appreciate what you're doing and sharing about this on your platform. I won't be able to stay to paint. I have to go teach a lesson. But like, thank you again so much for this opportunity to connect all here together and share a little bit about Tim's story.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I just wanted to piggyback and say that I'm thankful and I'm so very grateful for the exact same for you for bringing this platform together, for spreading the word. I mean, just for seeing us the way you see Tim, and just everything behind it. Just I couldn't thank you enough. This is incredible. I unfortunately have to go to a shoot though, so I have to go as well.
Hey, we're artists that are working it. That's inspiring. So you go do it. Go hit it.
We're on the fly. On the fly.
All right, cool. All right. Thanks, friends, so much. And stick around, everybody, because I've got just a little something we've got planned here. So, all right. So here is what I would love to do, because I think one of the most important things is when, and this is nothing new to this community, Abby. We are a community of like, we're just all about keeping ourselves motivated. And I think after watching, hearing about Tim, seeing his passion, seeing how he has motivated himself with very little means, financial and otherwise. It just makes me even more passionate about how do we keep ourselves inspired and motivated as artists. So I asked you and everyone before this live, like, what is there an exercise? Is there something that you can share with the community? I'm also happy to go first. There are things that I do, little exercises, little techniques, little things, little crazy art moments that I have been going to again and again and again over the years. So when my passion kind of like just fades a little, it like rejuvenates me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
I do have I have my own very specific things I do for that. So I'm totally can go first.
Go first.
So I don't do a ton of watercolor. I do a little bit of that. I know that's your thing.
That's my thing.
But mostly when I use watercolor, it'll be kind of like metallic accents and stuff like that. But my go-to when I kind of just need to keep myself motivated or I don't know what to paint, which happens a lot, is I kind of lean into my mixed media experimentation. And because I do a lot of collage, it's really helpful for me to just like have a lot of papers and textures and stuff. Just I have a huge like thing over there just filled with different papers and stuff. So when I'm like in a place where I don't know what I want to paint or I don't want to finish a painting or something, I'll kind of say like, well, today's going to be a paper making day. And I will just do kind of different techniques to make different papers. So I have some here that mostly what I'll use is like acrylic ink, but it's kind of like watercolor. So I make kind of just like these, just like textures.
Oh my gosh, friend, I'm calling you friend because we clearly have a friend in neon. All right. All right. Oh,
this
so
and
good.
the neon yellow. I don't have any neon yellow things here right now. But I'll make, just a lot of what I do is neon, or I'll do I like to experiment with colors and mixing earth colors with neon colors and stuff. And then another thing I'll do to make papers is I will set up a full day of like paper marbling. So I'll like I have some here. Oh, actually, this has some more neon papers too, but I'll make these like kind of marbled papers.
How easy is that easy to do? Does it take a lot of supplies?
The main supply that you need to get is what's it called? It's not gelatin. It's I'm like totally blanking on the name right now, but
it's okay. I blank all the time.
It's kind of like this seaweed or it's like made from seaweed or something, but it makes the paper jelly, agar.
Okay.
And you mix it with your water, and you it makes the water into kind of like a more goopy type of surface. And
yes.
I don't do any type of, there's a lot of people who do like really nice paper marbling, and they have like very specific like
the historical stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Nessa knows. Carrageenan. That's what it is. It's Carrageenan.
Okay.
And
Carrageenan.
So they'll have special paints. There's paper marblers who mix like things like ox gall in their paints, and that makes it spread more or whatever. I just use golden high flow acrylics. And I just drop those right into the
Okay. I
So,
love that. I have it right here. It's one of my favorite
yep.
little mixed media special things.
Yeah, and
A little
it's
secret.
something you figure out is the different pigments kind of like settle in different ways. So like the white pigment doesn't spread kind of as far as another one. So
Yep.
I'll mix it with a little medium or something. But all my papers, I have no intent how they're going to turn out. So like I even like kind of when the colors get like muddy and make like weird little things in them.
Oh my gosh, we're like art soul sisters here. Let me show.
Oh
My
my
gosh.
gosh, yes. And like
I,
exactly what you're doing, that's what I'll do too. And just like
I'm trying. I was like, I'm gonna do what she's describing. That's what's happening.
and sometimes I'll do it and like you'll draw on top of it. So like here's my sketchbook. Like I just blobbed some ink and then like did a drawing on top of it with some
Oh
crayons.
my gosh. And you actually know how to draw. Look at that.
Oh, here's one that I just like collaged some paper and then like painted in.
Oh, my
Um,
husband is about to have a rude awakening because I'm be like, hey honey, it's time I need to buy some art. I do that.
I'll make like I'll make sketches. Like here's one that I just like randomly threw together in my sketchbook with my papers.
Oh, okay, so collage, yep.
And then I'll go and be like, that one was cool. I'm gonna make that into another thing. So I'll take things from my sketchbook where I like don't care about it as much because I'm not showing it easily, and then I'll make it into like a new like kind of thing. So that's like how I use my sketchbook. But yeah, that's what I'll do when I'm not sure. Is I just start smooshing paint around. Or like I'll do like a palette knife and like drop paint the thing and then like push it around and then I'll like cut this out. At some point I'll be making a painting probably and be like, I could really use a green and red smooth. And then I'll go dig through my bin of papers and I'll find this smoosh that I made like a year ago and use that.
What paper was that?
This is just like tracing paper.
Okay.
And why I use that is because when you collage that on like an acrylic painting, you can't really see the edges of the paper because it's like so thin. So it makes it look really like it's almost kind of like a mystery of like, what is that? Did you tape that? Is it painted?
Yeah.
So I kind of like having that little bit of mystery of like how was that created, and the tracing paper is really cool for collage.
I love that. I forget what's your Instagram handle? I'm going to put it here in the comment section.
It's AboAba, and that's ABBEY, Abby like the road, and then Aura AURA.
All right, everybody go follow Abby.
Posting on there, but I need to take some tips out of your book because you're very consistent with your
social media. I'm consistent when I am, not when I'm not. Like sometimes I go, and I disappear, and then sometimes I'm come back and I'm like, yeah, I'm all about it. So, So that was all. I just love the fact that I was like, here, I'm gonna put this full screen because it's actually cool what you talked about, the high flow into. I've got this big old puddle here.
Yes.
Look what that's doing. Hello. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, and I have like a table that is just fully covered in paint just because of exactly what you're doing. I'll do that all the time and I'll just like let it drip onto there and
yes. Oh my gosh. I wish I had I have all sorts of crazy supplies everywhere. And for this exact reason, got some gold gouache here. See what happens. But I love this, friends. Friends, you need to do this. I don't even want to share mine because mine is not as exciting, not whatsoever. I just want to keep doing this one. But this idea of when your brain is fried, when your brain is like, no, no more, no, thank you. It's like going back. It's almost like you rest into something that you know and you're familiar with and you're comfortable with, and something that you know may not produce a final work of art, right? But that I loved how you said, Abby, that I put these, like that piece that you did on the tracing paper, that you're most likely someday going to come back to that and use it in a final fancy work of art, finished piece. But today it's just a breath of calm, a breath of fresh air for you. So I love that idea that each time we sit down to make something, the goal shouldn't always be to get it right, to model the thing perfectly, to figure out the shadows and the color scheme perfectly. Sometimes you just need to sit down and put the stuff on the paper, and it sounds so simple when it's coming out of my mouth, but for so many of us, I know your stories, it is so hard for us to allow ourselves that kind of freedom. So I think it's just so cool that this was your thing. This was your thing, Abby, and that you shared it with us, because it's a perfect reminder. And it's also, I think, you tell me your thoughts on it. I'll say it quick and then let you chime in. Listen to me, let you chime in. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's when we learn these habits, because this is something I talk about often. These are habits that we build in our art process. We build habits where we know what to do when we're feeling a certain way about our art. So it's when we really dig into these habits of just making a mess, painting paper, filling a space, getting it all messed up, seeing what happens, letting the muddies happen. It's that kind of brain, it's that kind of positioning in your creative brain that allows you to be more like Tim, that allows you to let that passion flow, that allows the big ideas to eventually come. I don't know. How do you feel about that? How does that play out for you, or does it?
Oh yeah. I would say like probably up until a couple of years ago, it was really, really hard for me to do that.
Okay.
And one of my I had asked one of my mentors, like, how can I get out of this like perfection mode?
Mm.
Um, and that was really the advice he gave me. Was he said, take a couple tubes of paint, squirt it on your canvas, and just start smushing it around.
Mm.
And that was the most like far out thing for me to do.
Yeah.
And when I did it, it kind of created this whole new like style and method that I had been
Mm.
completely unaware of. And then so I kind of started working in that style. I still hadn't really fully released my perfectionism, even though
Mhm.
like really if you have that, you're out. It's always going to be a battle probably.
Yeah.
But then I had kind of really focused on making a large body of work a couple of years ago. And something that my mentor at the time told me was you have to become comfortable with making a bad painting. And you know,
Yes.
who are we to judge whether it's good or bad? But generally, we do have an opinion about our art if it comes out good or bad. And
Yep.
it's better to just accept that some of your paintings will be quote unquote bad,
Yep.
and to just not let it like get you down if it didn't like turn out perfectly. Like everything is a process, everything is an experience. So
Yeah.
pushing through that, it like chances are like whatever you learned from that bad painting, you're going to take into a different piece, and it's going to be like a breakthrough piece, or you're going to
Yeah.
be able to use that, you know, negative perception of your old painting to create something beautiful. And really a lot of the time too, our perceptions of our own work is very far off from what other people think. So
Yes.
a painting that you think is not perfect or not good, like there's a chance that that will be the painting that other people gravitate towards. So yeah, it's good to release that judgment sometimes of ourself and our art. Like, you know, like there's a part of you that should be critiquing your art if you're trying to become better. but at the same time, like it's very, very much a balance of perfectionism and like letting go. It's almost like a circular process, sort of, that will just go on
Yes.
forever.
I love that you said that it will go on forever.
Yeah.
Hear that, friends. There's no, we hear about this, like, I feel like when I was in my 20s and even my 30s, like, you have arrived. You are never going to arrive here. There's no arriving. There's just enjoying. There's just being. There's just in it. You're in it. You're in it for the rest of your life because you you are, because you're here. If you're here, you're in it. You're in it. Just accept it. Just accept it. There's no arriving.
Yeah.
You've arrived here. That's about it.
It's a lifelong thing. Yeah. There will never be that moment where you're like, I did it. Like,
Right.
I'm an artist now. It's like, no, the second that you put that pencil on the paper, like, you're an artist. Like, it doesn't matter really what the judgment about your art is. Like,
No.
by doing it, that's just it.
I know, I agree. And there has been, there's been some chatter. There's always chatter. Like, she's a fine artist. And I don't subscribe to that at all. Like, this whole, like, crafter, hobbyist, fine artist, and so on and so forth. And it's those type of titles too that hold us down, that keep us scared. You know what I mean? You're an artist. You are. You're an artist.
Yeah. And
love it.
Like fine art or whatever someone puts
whatever
into that category, and first of all, it's just someone judging your art. And ooh, I love that. That is so cool.
Look what happened down here. I'm like really excited about that right there.
That's
anyway,
a cool moment.
That is a cool moment. This one is too. Like, I use some pigment, like salts.
Oh, cool. Oh, I've always seen videos of that, and I've just never gotten a chance to try it, but I've always wanted to.
Oh, you would love this. These are actually my favorite. This TCW Color Sparks, and they call it watercolor powder.
Oh.
This is by far my favorite, and I have a lot of other ones. A lot of the handmade paint makers make them.
Okay, yeah, I definitely see. That's where I've seen them, is because I do make like some metallic paints, so I would definitely follow some of the paint makers and stuff, and that's where I've seen those pigment, the pigment sprinkles and stuff.
That was a lot. That was a lot, but we'll see what happens.
Cool. Yeah, that's another tool I love to use, is the spray bottle too. Just whatever, because you don't really have much control over it. It's just kind of like, well,
nope.
Whatever happens here happens.
Oh my gosh, Abby, you have really inspired me today. Clearly.
Yay. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
This is another fun supply when I do, I don't know if you use these, but let me see if I even have them here. After I do like some watercolor, I'll use like some of these to like draw on top of it.
Oh yeah, we're big fans here in the hardcore watercolor land of the it's Neo Color, right? Karen Dash. Yeah, that's what they're called. I'm really bad at remembering names and things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to draw on top of the
I'm gonna get mine. Oh, they're right here. Right here. See, I'm not lying. I'm not just lying. I'm saying the truth. I'm speaking truth. Yeah. I recently did a video with a fellow artist who got me out of my I hate painting roses, and like I feel like the world makes me, I'm like required to love roses. And she used these a lot, and it was a great session because she just had a lovely hand with these, and so they haven't left my painting table since, because I was so enamored with them.
Yeah, they're so fun and just like versatile, and there's something I don't like normally use, so that's like another thing too, when I am not sure what to do is I'll kind of just like pull out a supply that I'm like, well, I haven't used these in a while.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the first times I used these, this is actually kind of a fun challenge. I don't know how, received it would be in watercolor land, but one of the things I've used these for is we do a challenge that's called the brushless painting. And you have
Okay.
a whole painting without using a brush. So you have to just pull out all your stuff. So your spray bottle, your palette knives, your crayons, your...
Do you see my face? Like, I'm like, yes.
That's a fun one because like you'll just be surprised by what you can come up with when you just take out that one thing that everyone thinks that they have to have.
Yeah, the brush. All right, so I have to ask, just because I don't want to tick anybody off, like, who came up with that? Like, if I were to do that, who do I give credit to? That idea? Is it you?
Honestly, I think I just like saw some artists doing it online.
Okay. Because I
And
want to do that. I want to do a video for that, but I'll just, if you remember, if you ever come across who did it, let me know. Because I'm going to add it to my schedule. It'll be probably like the summer before it happens, but I want to do that. That sounds like, I'm thinking like spray bottles, sponges, paper towel. I did do a painting. Y'all, do you remember the video I did where I didn't use a brush? I used a paper towel wrapped around my finger. The whole painting. So see, for me, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That's right up my alley. But I think it's a great challenge for many, many, many an artistic brain in this community. I think that they'd be like, I think it would really make people think, and there would be so much learning to be had and so many aha moments to be had in that. So I love it.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many ideas coming through now. Finger painting, a feather.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, the comments are flying.
Like splatter painting, spray painting is like something that a lot of artists don't try because it's kind of an out there material. But spray painting and stencils does some really cool things.
Yes. Jennifer just reminded me that I did paint with twigs once. Yes, I did do that.
Twigs.
A sponge daddy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because you could throw them right back in the dishwasher and yeah.
Oh, like the smiley sponge?
Yes.
That's
I love those sponges. Cute. And I love Sponge Daddy. You need to sponsor us, Sponge Daddy. Hello.
Scraping. I love scraping.
Scraping.
The coolest patterns. There's this artist on Instagram that I'm like totally blanking on his name, but he only scrapes. So
he only scrapes.
He uses glass and tapes different shapes, and someone here might have seen this guy. So if you know who I'm talking about, put his name, and he'll put paint on these palette knives, and then just scrape along the shapes that he's created in these different layers, and it just makes the coolest textures. And because he tapes it in different sections, he like makes a composition with it, and
oh my gosh,
really interesting, but not a brush in sight. Like,
just I think I know. Yes, I think I've seen that.
But yeah, he does some really cool stuff with just scraping.
I love that. Well, this has been, I am just doing some of that golden high flow, and I'm bumping it into Case for Making's indigo ink. And I'm trying not to fuss too much with it right now because it's doing cool things. The less that
that is turning out so cool. I love your color palette and your just kind of whimsical flowers and stuff. That's funny, those little whimsical flowers. I was thinking of adding some of those onto like this piece. Originally I had almost those exact little kind of flowers you were drawing. I had kind of pictured those being in one of these little
I'm
slices.
obsessed with that. Is it on a website yet for sale?
No,
Seriously?
I'm not done with it because like
Okay.
I'd really like to flesh out the figure and the like fabric that she's holding and really pop those highlights. And I usually finish my paintings with oil. So right now this is like all acrylic, mixed media, and then I'm kind of she's kind of just been sitting there waiting for some oil. So I'll finish up this whole figure like in oil.
Will you seriously reach out to me when she's done?
Sure.
I'm not joking.
Sure. Yeah, I'll let you know. It is kind of funny how it matches with the.
It is so, and I just feel like I have been on a health journey. Like for me, it is screaming this freedom. I lost 120 pounds over the last 3 years.
Oh my God, congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. It is just to me, it's screaming this freedom, and because I'm still a big girl, it's just screaming freedom to me. Health. I don't know.
That's interesting. I mean, this painting is definitely about freedom, not necessarily like with your health, but just to me, or at least to me, that's what.
Yeah. Well, it's working. It's working.
Yeah, so that's really interesting.
Nicole says plastic forks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, scrape rope found on the shore for mixed media and as a painting rubbing scraping tool. Oh, I love that. Like a really thick textural rope. Coke tabs. This community, man. I've trained y'all well. I've trained them all to really think outside the box.
Yeah, veggies and fruits. Yeah, kind of. You could use them almost like a stamper.
Yeah. Oh, celery. Oh, nice, Choco Berry. Also, love your handle. Love your screen name. Everyone knows I love a good creative screen name. Potatoes. Yes, awesome. Well, this has been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Abby, thank you so much for hanging out, for inspiring this painting. I want to do another one like immediately.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you.
Like totally my vibe of painting. Like I would gravitate towards that on a wall or wherever.
I have to say, these 3 colors, these were my first 3 colors that I purchased with the acrylic gouache. And so it's this luminous orange, light apricot, and opera. And these have come to be like, this little trio has been a reviving inspiration for me so many times. It's like my go-to when I'm just feeling blech,
I love that. It's very
highly recommend.
Happy color palette.
Yeah. Highly recommend this combo. And then also Holbein gouache, any of their metallics, I just find to be just so freaking amazing.
They're has just to be my next supply to try. I have never tried gouache, but I've heard lots about it. But I have tried that opera pink in oil, so I know that color.
It's so good. I am an opera anything. Give me anything opera, and I'm a happy girl. So. Anywho, well, friends, just remember why we're here today. Any donations that come through for Tim and AboAba charity today. What's today? The 7th of March, 2024. If you're watching on replay, you can still donate. But anything coming through today, I'm gonna match. So, just get on it. Yay. Q-tips. Thanks, Sarah. That's a good one too. Q-tips. Yeah. This has been an absolute blast. And I hope that you just go on into your day. I hope you take some time to paint and just dig into it. Make some paper. Abby, I love how you said that. I like to make paper. And I was like, oh, what does she mean, make paper? But I love I love that idea that I just made this paper by what I added to it, the surface, So go make some paper and tag me and Abby on Instagram if you do make something inspired by today. Oh my gosh, Colette just said toy cars for the love. That is amazing.
That'd be so cute.
Yes. Oh my gosh, my kids would actually love that project. Okay. So, Nicole, the link for the GoFundMe is in the description here. And yeah, you can read all about it just to kind of refresh yourself on what we talked about today. But the GoFundMe link is there. And if for whatever reason it is not there right now, I will add it as soon as this live is over. But pretty sure I put it there.
Yeah, it's linked on Tim's account too. So
yeah.
if anybody wants to follow his account and stay up to date, the GoFundMe is just going to be up there just semi-permanently.
Yeah.
And
Good.
yes, you can find it there too.
Good. I probably have paint on my face now. I'm finding paint everywhere. Anywho, all right. Well, we're gonna go get on with our day and make some awesome and change lives in big and small ways. Let's all do it.
Thanks
all right.
so
Thanks
much for having
Thanks
me
everyone.
and for organizing everything and for everything you've
Absolutely.
done. So,
oh, it's
you, and I'm glad to have met you too.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure. So stay in touch. Let me know when that painting's done.
Okay. You got it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.